Mak10.
Yo.
How you doing?
I'm good, bro.
You well, yeah?
I'm good.
Good to be sitting with you, my brother.
Thank you.
Really good to be sitting with you because I know there's a story within a story within a story where you're concerned.
Yeah.
Let's start at the beginning, and I always like to ask this for people who, just in case there's people tuning in who have seen you, they get it, you're a DJ, but they don't know your story, bro. They don't know why the scene respects you the way it does. So talk about it. How have you got into this space?
Well, probably from about early 2000s, I'd say circa 2000, I was a part of a grime collective called Nasty Crew, which was started by my brother Marcus Nasty. I took over as a DJ for the crew through the period that was sort of the peak period. Nasty Crew consisted of Sharky Major, Stormin, DWE, Gets, Stormin, Jammer, Monkster, Hitman, Hyper, Footsie. You know, there was quite a lot of significant artists within that crew, collective.
And you were the DJ for it?
I was the DJ, yeah.
Because I know there's a couple man in there that you mentioned who can DJ.
Yeah.
So you consider yourself the DJ. That was early 2000s, right? So what was it about? Was it just literally the fact that your brother formed a crew, or was you just all mates together? What was it that kept you there?
You know what? Some of the guys I knew from school, they weren't in my year, like Sharky Major went my school, DWE went my school. But I think I was playing garage at the time, and the time that started was when MCs wanted to rap a bit more. So it was more about expressing themselves through content rather than entertainment of a crowd. You know, like the garage stuff was more about just entertaining the crowd, and I think a balance was found between lyricism and that over garage, and that's where grime started to sort of take shape.
It's a different form of expression, right?
A different form of expression.
Yeah. So talk about how you gravitated to DJing as opposed to spitting bars, because I don't think I've ever...
Yeah, no, I think at my generation, we all used to say other people's lyrics in the playground. I think around that time it was, first of all, it was Skibbity and MC Shabba. Jungle was quite popular then. And then garage came about, and it was sort of Heartless Crew. And prior to Heartless Crew, it was Creed, PSG, you know, so it's always repeating someone else's lyrics, not necessarily my own. I probably had one or two that, you know, as a kid, but that wasn't my calling. I think I see my cousin DJing at a young age. I used to go a lot of youth clubs and stuff, and that took me, I wanted to do that. But my dad was in a band, so I've got a musical background, right. So I was always around music.
So basically that whole creative space is what helped you to spawn a name for yourself.
Yeah.
What kept you in the lane though? What made you know that you were good?
Well, I think naturally I picked it up quite fast. I think what kept me there, in hindsight, obviously I can say this now, was just me, was a form of escapism for me. Because I used to just lock myself away and DJ, you know, and that's all I did. And sort of moving forward to where I am today, I've realised that when things get tough for me, like emotionally or mentally, my head reverts to, I just want to go and do music, lock myself away and put headphones on. So maybe that was a coping mechanism for me back then that I realise now, but it's shaped me.
No, definitely, and I totally understand that music is definitely a distraction and a way to get away, block it out prior to the internet. That's what we had, right? But when did you realise you were good?
I realised pretty quick that I had something. Because I was a bit of a novelty when I started. I was 15, and it was the times of turntables and 1210s, and there wasn't many people doing that at my age. So it was quite like, oh, look at this young kid, he can do this. So anytime I went somewhere, I was around an older generation, and I started mixing. The minute I did a mix, they're like, whoa, because they're like, I'm a little kid, I shouldn't be able to do that. But no, I was doing it in my own way. So I think that's when I realised that I had something. So I always believed I could do something with it.
So take me from how a 15-year-old who is in with a group that you've outlined already, who are, I mean, many of those names are gone on to do it, right? So the next 5 years, like from 15 to 20, and navigating the rave scene and just kind of being in and around that. What was that like for you as an experience?
That's what probably shaped me. It was a lot of changing, going through different trends of music, friendship groups, like culturally as well, just like what was happening around me or being in different areas. So I was really just finding out who I was, trying to learn what I was about in that time, not like consciously, but just how I was maneuvering around. So yeah, I was just really just being a kid, really, if I'm honest. And the lane that I was in wasn't what I was meant to be doing. Yeah, I think I started out one way, like always wanting to be with MCs and all of that sort of hype. And then I went into a more laid back, like underground approach of not wanting MCs and just being about the music and the way it's constructed, really quite laid back. And then I suppose I just ended up back where I started once I got back with the MCs.
So was you on radio? Was you doing?
Yeah, I was on radio at a young age, pirate radio. I was going to a station called Magic FM when I was like 16. And that was another reason why it kept me in it and kept me going, because I would go to radio and I would have like a following of school friends and friends from the area that would listen to me, take me and play them back, and the tapes were being shared around. So that kept me going, and I used to go to radio at any given moment. Like my first show was at, I think, 2 to 4 in the morning on a Tuesday. Wow. I'd walk there. I timed it the other day. I put in Google Maps from my mum's house. It was an hour and 40 something minutes I used to walk. From 12, leave my house at 12, come back and walk back with a massive record back.
So I was going to say, with your records?
Yeah, with my records.
Crazy.
On my own.
Crazy dedication.
Yeah.
My brother was a DJ as well. I grew up with him, watching him mix and kind of watching some of his friends DJ and stuff. And I was having a conversation with him recently where I said, I don't think the DJs of today, and this is no slight on them, but I don't think that they are as battle tested as DJs that come through that analog 1210 to now obviously mixing, how you mixing digitally on whatever those things are. And I don't think that DJs nowadays are as battle tested as you guys. What are your thoughts on that? Because you had to do the raves, you had to do the pirate radio, you had to do it all just to kind of be validated by the crowd, you know what I mean? But today it's not the same. I know it's different.
Yeah, no, it is different, but you know what, I just really appreciate the fact that people still want to do it and enjoy it. I think it is a beautiful thing, and it's actually a science. So I'm here for it, because it's not just about the mixing technicality that you have. For me, DJing is about giving people a vibe and letting them into your vibe. And then there's a science behind that whole thought process. When you're doing it to a higher standard and a higher level, it goes beyond just your technical skills.
Okay.
So I think it's more about selection, timing, you know, they're the main things, and that's where it gets beautiful. So anyone who picks it up and wants to do it and enjoy that, I'm here for it.
Okay, that makes sense. In terms of being inspired by the group of people you were around, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of them being artists, what DJs did you look up to though?
I think I can, like, going all the way back, I remember listening to a DJ called Funky Flirt,
Cool FM
or Rush.
Rush, that's right. Weekend Rush.
I think he was on Rush. So Flirt, Funky Flirt stood out to me because his style was really, like, it was sort of exciting. It was really exciting. So he stood out to me from an early age, and then I think when I started getting into garage, DJ Hype as well was another one, because he was scratching. So I used to always look for who's doing something different. And then when I got into garage, I saw Carl Tuffenoff Brown at Stratford Rex. No, I used to listen to him on Sun City tapes. And then I saw him live at Stratford Rex, and he wasn't DJing like anyone else. He was jumping around, it was really exciting. And he was sort of cutting the tunes, which I'd never seen anyone doing it either. So he was a big inspiration. And then DJ EZ came along, and he was doing what Carl was doing, but
took it more.
Yeah, so then I think EZ I was sort of following for a long time. So that's definitely my inspiration.
So you got to meet your idols, have any of them let you down?
I haven't met Easy yet. I met him once, but not spoken to him.
What would you ask him if you got a chance to sit down?
I don't know. I'd want to DJ with him.
Back to back,
yeah.
Back to back session.
Yeah, like just
Mak10 and Prince is coming up, right? DJ Easy, I know you're watching all my work, so you know what to do. Reach out to the guy.
Yeah, no, I'd love to DJ with Easy, man. That would be crazy. Even just there, like. This DJ with me, that would be mad.
Nah, he's an absolute legend.
Best places in the world that I've DJed. I think what excites me when I go abroad, I think Canada and New York was eye-openers for me, because even though the scene's still growing there, Canada is quite more forward. They're quite more in tune with what's happening here, but just to hear how they speak about our culture, and I'm not just talking about the music, they're really infused in our culture. They know the artists, they know artists, some of the stories that they say to me, I'm like, how do you even know this stuff? They're telling me things that I would assume they shouldn't know.
Yeah.
You know, you think they're gonna know about the usual, the Skeptors, the Chips, the D-doubles, but they'll tell you about some of the really underground guys that we've got. And the internet has done that. One of the guys, I remember I spoke to him and he's like, do you know how I found Grime? I was watching KSI and he said something about JME, and then I stumbled across JME, and then from JME, and then I found all this other stuff. So they're finding out about it from different channels. And also that they're so engrossed in not just the music, our culture, what we wear, what we say, you know, this song, what we eat, just you know, all the slang, everything, they're fully engrossed in it, and I think Grime's a part of that. Yeah, so Sweden was cool as well. So the answer to that is probably New York and Canada and Sweden. Yeah.
We're going to get into some of the stuff you're doing now.
Yeah.
Some of the historical stuff you've done recently.
Yeah.
We're going to get into that in a second, but as with any arc, there are peaks and troughs, right?
Yeah.
And I know your journey, as much as we've outlined some of the great stuff that's happened in the beginning of it, it's been peppered with other stuff.
Yeah.
I know you've done a couple of stints at Her Majesty's Pleasure, His Majesty's Pleasure, all defining parts of who you are, right?
Yeah.
Speak about that, what you've learned, the lessons you've learned, because I know the stories are out there, but I'm not sure if you've spoken on it too.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think, obviously, I was brought up in Plaistow, so I was brought up around a certain way, or I got into a certain way of living and behaving. And that just caught up with me, and I made a few poor choices that eventually led me to prison. And all through that journey, you know, I had to go through other stuff, you know, troubles with addiction, and just getting into trouble, like generally getting into trouble, that led me to that point. Yeah.
Have you, and in terms of the lessons you learned and coming through those periods, you're clearly a different man now.
Yeah.
Just speak about the indelible, I guess, mark that's left on you, or what you take with you moving forward.
I think everything that's happened needed to happen for me to be here today. But the lessons that I learned couldn't have been like, I don't know, I learned a lesson after the fact of me sorting myself out. When I say sorting myself out, going to rehab in particular, because even though I'd been to prison and I had a problem with addiction, I was still in active addiction. So a lot of delusion comes around that and denial. So it's almost like, you know, bravado, like I don't care. Like, I know I'm not to do that again, but there was no lesson learned because I could still behave the same way. So in hindsight, I just think there's not much I can say. I just think I didn't really gain nothing from it. All I did was destroy relationships, destroy everything I come in contact with. There was never no positive to come of it. The things I was chasing had no meaning, you know, and everything I did prior to going rehab didn't need to happen. I was just lost. I think the catalyst was when I had enough of being in active addiction.
Right.
I think that is genuinely the turning point, because then I'm not sort of my focus and my aim in life and my goals changed, even though they were still there, but there was no clear way to get there. And even after coming out of rehab, there was still no clear way. I still left there lost. And I think the key thing for me was I stopped DJing. I always wanted to DJ. I'd set up businesses. I've done that. I started a clothing label, which is still going now. But anything I did failed because of what I was doing. So once I'd settled and I'd come out of rehab, I felt lost, like I didn't know what to do. Bearing in mind I'd stopped DJing, so now I was just like that kid again who wanted to just DJ and block out noise. That's what I wanted to do again. So I just got myself some equipment, turned it on and started DJing. Put TikTok live on one day, and then from there it just went.
What you're mentioning and what I'm hearing is like, positive and intentional behaviour that steered you towards the direction onto the course that you find yourself on now. And you've got to do it in order for it to happen, right?
Yeah.
So, huge kudos to you for not only doing it, but sticking the course. Did you ever think it would blow up the way it has? Because, like I said, I just found you on Instagram, outside Plasto with your decks, bubbling, and I'm like, spread that one.
Do you know what, yeah? It's really tough. You know what? I've got to keep going backwards with this, because what always drove me was my passion. And I didn't ever, like when I first started, I never knew I was going to get to the level I got to. And before this, the peak of my career was the Nasty Crew days. And I never thought that was going to happen. But what was always driving me was passion. Like, there was no financial gain or nothing like that that was driving me. I wasn't doing it for that purpose, doing it because I loved it. So that's what reset. So when I started in my kitchen and I started doing the TikTok live, then I started going outside. I was literally driving around with my decks in the boot. And whatever moment I felt like expressing myself, I would pull over, turn my camera on, put my decks out, and I've got off, and I'm just playing to the people on the screen. That was all I wanted to do, and I was just doing it because I loved it and I enjoyed it. These guys are enjoying it with me. It's the same pirate radio feeling that I had when people was recording my tapes and sending them around. It was exactly the same. There was nothing different. And I think that just drove me, and it must have just resonated with people, is what I can say. And no, I didn't see it getting there. I didn't. If I'm honest, I didn't.
So what point do you realise that actually this is taking on a life of its own?
I think when brands started reaching out and we started getting brand work and the level of artists that was coming onto the platform, I think that's when. And this has been in the space of 2 years.
I put perspective on it, my brother, because a lot of people might come across you and think, "Oh, just doing the DJ AG."
Yeah.
But the both of you were just grinding separately.
Yeah, grinding separately.
Right, with a similar concept.
Yeah.
Obviously, you stayed very true to the type of music that you're messing with, whereas he's a bit more flexible.
Yeah. Comparison happens all the time, and I think for me, what started to happen is it's that same passion thing, and my thing is I like to be authentic. So I'm not saying I'll just only do grime. I think I'll do stuff that I like and is authentic to me and my brand. And also I needed to find a way to distance the separation a little bit. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this. There's enough space for more than two people. There's enough space for more than one person. But also, I needed to find a way to make it make sense so that I don't have to stand outside for long periods. So that's why I started the Essence as well, which is when I've got the handheld thing to make a different type of series that I can kind of set up, get the content and go. So that works better for me as well, especially in winter.
Right.
I'm not having to stand outside and stuff. So,
yeah.
Yeah, man. And I would also suggest to anyone, because I get asked a lot about, how would you help someone who wants to do something, or any advice for anyone like that? And I think, look, if you can't come up with a concept, do what someone else is doing in your own way, and make it your own. Don't do it the same. I think when like there was a couple of people doing the outside thing, and my initial thing was they're not doing it how I do it. So that's not a bad thing. Like I just looked why it was working, what they was doing, why it was working, and how I could do it different. And I set out to do that, you know.
You've had great support as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, this natural giving, part of the foundation of this thing. What's that support meant to you, then?
The support?
Yeah, from different artists, different acts. I mean, you've been all over the country doing
this,
right? So.
No, I think it means a lot, because to get to this level, even though I just think that I can't do this on my own. Like I'm nothing without support. I'm nothing without people that are willing to watch and support. Just watching something that I do is supporting me. So if people add their voice to it, it's great. So I'm nothing without the people that's enjoying the content or whatever. So it means everything to me, really, so.
You were part of a historical moment, my brother. I'm glad you're smiling.
Yeah,
I'm glad you're smiling.
Yeah.
Many a man, many a promoter, many a fan of Dizzee and Wiley have wanted to see the two come back together.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the stories. It's been well documented. Forget the past. Speak about that moment where you kind of brought them together in Shoreditch, right?
Yeah.
A low-key event for you, right? Just not the setting that people thought that this would take place in. How did you do it?
Do you know what? Again, organically and authentically, and I would love to say, like, obviously, I done an essence with Dizzee, and I said to Dizzee afterwards, I said, look, shall we do this live? Because it was really good, it was received really well. So let's do this live, and Dizzee was down. So it's like, we'll announce it like a week before, we'll pull up in Shoreditch, announce it and whatever. I was really hoping Wiley would turn up, because I didn't say anything to him. I didn't. I'd love to say I planned it. I didn't plan it. Promise. I got there. Dizzee hadn't arrived yet, and one of the first people I saw walking through the crowd was Wiley. And I just said to him, tell me you're staying there. Tell me you're staying there. He's like, I'll just come to support you. You get me? But then when Dizzee came to the truck, he was about to go on, and I was like saying, are you ready for Dizzee Rascal type thing? And I said, someone else is lurking about, on the mic. And Dizzee went, call him here, let's do it. Call him over. And when I announced Wiley was getting onto the truck, everyone just really, they went crazy. But in the moment, I'm not actually acknowledging the power and the significance of what is actually happening. I'm just thinking this is going to be a sick moment. And what happened. And still, even after, I was just like, like it didn't register. But you know what, in testament to that, I think that just to say, like, if I wasn't working like a dog, if I wasn't doing all of this stuff, and if big up Wiley and Dizzee for believing in what I was actually doing as well, for them to both be there is great. It's not like anyone can just, call up Dizzee and Wiley turns up, so that stuff, I've got to pat myself on the back for that much. But I just think it didn't sink in. When I saw the magnitude of how people felt about that moment, and what took me back wasn't just about the music. That meant so much more to people than them two just doing music together. It showed unity, and at a time when people need it. So that just shows how powerful this stuff can be when it's done right and from a good place. And I think that moment there is powerful in history. But
about seeing our culture, you must have been like everyone else, wanted to see that. Right? Prior to that evening happening, you must have been like every other fan. We want to see that. I mean, you've outlined, you didn't really expect it to be you to be the one that was going to.
No, and obviously for me, it's going to sound mad, but things are moving so fast. Like You're doing something different every single day. So to even process that takes a while. Like I didn't process it. I didn't think about it. So much was happening. I probably was doing something mad the day before, doing something the day after. So I'm always thinking about, I'm just like, here and now, that's done. Right, cool. What's next? And that was just one of those things until later on in the night when I'm looking at the content. I'm like, whoa. And it was everywhere instantly. So yeah, no, I think I've got to say that's probably one of the biggest moments I've done in my career to date in terms of the response and what it meant. And what I'm most proud of is not just putting them two together. I'm more proud of what it meant to people outside of music, just seeing that unity together on stage. There's powerful stories just happening within that.
No, I was going to say that was what was for me.
Yeah.
The unity.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much about being young, black, talented and creative that ends up with you being pitted against someone else.
Yeah.
And for sometimes, I mean, like I said, we all know the story, so that's not the case in this instance, but we like to see people who are powerful within their respective genres working together, coming together, being creative together. So, mate, the fact that you were a part of that is forever history. You could have waited till Black History Month, though, bro.
Yeah, these things. You know what made it so special? The fact that it was unplanned and it just happened that way. I think it was going to happen, and it needed to happen that way. And if I'm brutally honest, I was praying that that would happen. I knew that, like, I hope Wiley turns up. I just really hope that he turned up. And when I saw him, it was just like, yes. But in terms of it being what it did, I don't think I could have foreseen that. But
you worked with Dizzee for years, though, haven't you?
Yeah.
You're one of the ones that were championing and pushing Dizzee from the beginning, right?
Yeah. But in terms, again, I haven't worked with him probably for the same amount of time. 20 years plus.
Over,
yeah. So even that was great. I mean, I'll put things into perspective, So this is just like how far that me and the platform, I would say, have grown, because I called Dizzee to do an Essence with a freestyle thing. And I found a tower block in Bow, and we was on top of the tower block. We filmed it because I wanted it to be organic and authentic. You can't actually see the full setting in the video, but if you watch the video, the Essence, we're on top of a tower block in Bow on Roman Road. Yeah, yeah, right. So we're on top of a tower block. Now, Dizzee pulls up in a Ferrari, and he climbs up to a tower block on a roof in Bow, Now, I don't believe that that's going to happen for many people. So even that in itself is special. And then he enjoyed it, I enjoyed it, and we're like, no, let's do this live. Let's do this live. So that's when that thing happens. So that's just for perspective purposes of what's happening. Like, how the hell have I picked up the phone to Dizzee and managed to get him on top of a tower block in Bow? All these years later, and to be fair, he don't need to do that. This is just purpose for, like, passion. Like, let's just have fun with it.
And respect for you, though.
Yeah.
I don't think you should downplay that.
Yeah.
Like, I know you're doing that now, and I get it. I understand the significance of what you're saying, but like you said, there's not too many people that you would have done that for.
Yeah.
So, kudos to you, bro.
Yeah.
Hats off. It kind of puts you in a different space in terms of influence.
Yeah.
Than other DJs.
Yeah.
If someone might have got online and saw you just DJing outside, not knowing, this is why, for me, telling this story, your background, the connection, it's important, because there's a lot of people that might not dig deeper than the surface and might not understand your connection to it. Is that the height for you, though? Can you soar higher?
Well, definitely.
And what does it look like then?
I aim to, I think, doing it internationally, more production, and like, I want to start a label. I want to do all of that. I want to turn the platform into much more something that drives new talent, established talent. I want to give people a voice that they can look good, sound good, and promote themselves in another way, another avenue other than the traditional radio. Because I think what I found is people are looking for new ways to consume stuff and finding music in different ways. And for a lot of artists, it's difficult to find that way. So I just want to be that avenue for that. I'm sort of starting a clothing label. I'm into production.
Second time you mentioned a clothing label. What's it called?
Savior 6.
Yeah, I knew it was that.
Yeah, Savior 6. So I started this ages ago, but you know, we're building it back up. And yeah, so I just see it growing in that sense. And I want to sort of, like you mentioned before, sort of open up the genres more and, you know, explore other different genres and allow different genres in, because it's not just grime. And worldwide is different music, but I want to keep things within brand. I'm not just going to just throw anything on to my platform, but yeah. So we're just going to start expanding.
Mak10 and friends.
Yeah.
We've got a big event coming up at the end of Black History Month at Ministry. I know you've done a few of these already, right?
Yeah, so I've done 3.
Yeah.
And I started it really, really small one in Box Park, then went to Ministry, the small room, like the middle room, and then now we're taking over the full club.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Lineups look like it looks hectic, and I know that you've added a few names since you put that out, right?
Yeah. So
what's called a lineup, just so people that
yeah. So it's Wiley, Chip, Spyro Maximum, Roll Deep, Marcus Nasty, Super D, Terminal 4, Wigman, Petchy, Rampage, Loyal Squad, Bruiser, Flirter D. There's a lot of names on there. I can't go through them all.
I saw. I mean, you mentioned the big ones.
You
mentioned the headline catchers. What's it all about?
Well, Mak10 and Friends, again, was just another space where I wanted to be able to perform for people that was enjoying what I was doing. You know, it was really meant to just be just an intimate thing of just small venues, play what I like. It's just going to be a different setting and vibes. And that just went as well. So.
Just mushroomed.
Yeah.
Everything you touch is mushrooms right now. Both Chip and Wiley.
Yeah.
Chip, Grime Scene Savior. I love that he's branded himself that. I think he's stupendously talented.
Yeah.
And obviously Wiley being in that place where he's about unity.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge component in what's happening now. So speak about them two, just kind of being on the pages that they're on and just how that helps you.
I think Chip's played a good part in supporting me through this resurgence. I think he was one of the first people to put me onto stuff. He invited me to, I want to big up J2K as well, because J2K as well, he invited me to his carnival thing where I met Chip, but ever since I met Chip, I think we've done some great work. He's invited me to his first Grime Team Savior. And then from there, he's been really supportive of what I'm doing. He's helped me a lot. And so unity in terms of Chip, big him up, because he's all about that, you know. And
you can see all the work that he's put out.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, all the artists, he gets together in the same room. You know, he's always trying to promote the unity thing. So big him up. And I must say, Wiley, from the beginning, as you can see, he's never really, he could have been solo the whole time. But anytime you see Wiley, he's always bringing someone up with him, you know. So big him up, because he's helped so many people, just even from his music, but in his personal life, he's helped some people, you know. So, and helped develop a lot of artists.
I know. I can imagine he's done a lot of good work that doesn't get highlighted. Doesn't get the headlines. So yeah, it's nice that you're shouting him out for that, you know what I mean? Just in terms of how you'd like to scale the event, I know you said it started intimate. Yeah. And now it's 1,800 people at Ministry taking over the big room. You know, some big acts in there. Well, when I say big names, big names. In terms of a rave, dance culture, and everybody kind of coming to party, you've got the right people in there, you've got the right components.
100%.
Where does it scale from here? Do you want it to, or you have to?
Yeah, I think we've already got a plan in place to sort of take it national and international.
Right.
So I think that will be the next step. I think maybe 1 or 2 more in the same location, maybe one or two, and then we're going to take it international. The same with the Essence as well. In talks to go abroad, and we're going to be hitting up America, you know. So yeah,
but it seems like it's all going well for you right now. Seems like, you know, life's gone full circle and you're in a good place.
Yeah, no, it's nice. It's nice.
Okay, cool. Anything else you want to share with us?
No, this is Mak10 and friends, and thank you for having me.
No worries, man. All good. We'll next time you come in, we'll get into life away from the music.
Yeah.
You know, wifey, kids,
yeah.
that sort of stuff. We'll leave it for now, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fine. Appreciate it.
Take care, man. Thank you.